What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. UFC 302 Makhachev versus Poirier takes place this weekend, and it's a pretty solid card. Look, a lot of people are considering this fight like just the main and the co-main, but there is a lot to offer outside of that. There's going to be some really fun fights. There's a lot to go through, so I'm going to go through every single fight on the card, starting with the first prelim, ending with the main event, and I'm going to give my prediction and breakdown for every single fight on the card. Let's get started with the early prelim opener. First up, we got Lima versus Raposo. Lima's sitting at around minus 220. Raposo around plus 180, and I'm going to be picking Lima by decision. I like how he looked in the debut. Look, he did end up getting bitten and won via disqualification, but it was a pretty competitive fight up until that point. He was landing good elbows on the feet. He was looking solid in the striking. His takedown defense is not tremendous, but I don't know too much about Raposo, but he's coming in on short notice. This fight was made this week or like maybe a couple days ago. So he hasn't known about this for that long, and based off his record, this guy doesn't seem to be a grappler. He lost to Jake Hadley on the Contender Series by submission, and his recent wins are against like 3-3, 4-3 opponents. So he's fighting bums from what I'm seeing, so I'm just not going to trust him. I'm going to pick the guy who's made that UFC debut, and Lima's going to be rapidly improving too. He's 25, born in February 1999, so I trust him to be making the improvements. And even before his UFC debut, when he fought on the Contender Series, he fought a guy who was 15-2. So that's like, it's not like he's just been fighting cans and he got a fluky DQ win. I do trust Lima to look good in this fight, and he's also gone through 2 opponent changes. So he's probably been preparing for a couple different styles, which in some cases wouldn't be good, but I think even if, I don't know who Raposo is, I don't know what his strengths are, because there's fuck all tape on him. I didn't watch his Contender Series fight with Hadley. But because he was training for Hyung-Sung Park, who's a good boxer, and then he was training for Tungumbuli or whatever, who I think's a solid striker. So he's going to be across the striking. I don't think Raposo's too much of a grappler. So yeah, I'm going to pick Lima by decision, just because they're flyweights. They don't get heaps of finishes, but he's got 5 TKOs out of his 8 wins. So if he gets the finish here, it wouldn't surprise me. Let's move on though up the card. Next up, we got Perez versus Jocelyn Edwards. The cheeks are going to be on display in this fight. But look, as far as the prediction goes, I'll pick Perez. She is the favourite. I think rightfully so. She's got better grappling, I would say, than Jocelyn Edwards. You know, she's beat Lucy Podolova, Ashley Evans-Smith. She got subbed by Stephanie Egger, who's not that good. Couple TKO wins on the regional scene. Jocelyn Edwards is not good at all. Looking like an absolute cartoon character of a ting. I don't know what I'm looking at with this image. But, you know, she wins fights, I guess. She's 13-5. Decent opponent. But she lost to Nora Cornell. She beat Lucy Podolova by split decision. Yeah, why am I talking about this fight? It's women's MMA. Perez by decision. Let's move on. Next up, we got Basil Hafez versus Gall. This is a confident pick. I'll go Basil Hafez. Sorry, I'm going to read out this record. TKO loss to Mike Malott in 2022. Decision loss to Alex Morono in 2021. Lost to Mike Perry in 2020. Got finished by Diego Sanchez in 2019. I'm not picking this motherfucker to beat Basil Hafez, the roid monster who took a tough fight to Jack Della Maddalena. Now look, there is a possibility that he isn't that good and maybe he just had one-off great performance. But this guy looks solid on the regional scene too. He's got some wins. Good chance he's on steroids, I'll be honest. And this guy, I'm going to actually be picking him by TKO. I think he might take down because Gall's chin is not that good. He's been finished before. And this guy just looks like he'd be someone that hits hard, even though he doesn't have many like KO finishes. But Jack Della, he had a solid fight there, looked good in the grappling. So what I could see happening is he takes Gall down and beats him up on the ground and gets a finish in like round 1 or 2 is what I'm going to go with. Gall is awful. Let's move on though to the next fight. Next up on the card is Alex Morono versus Niko Price. I'm going to go with Alex Morono to win by decision. He's a pretty solid favourite on the odds, and I think he's just a lot better than Niko Price at this point in their careers. Niko Price, his chin appears to be gone. All love to Robbie Lawler, but how the fuck did you get KO'd by those punches in the clinch? Like, it's not like you're Sadiq Yusuf and you got KO'd by Diego Lopez. Like, respectfully, you're fighting like a 40-year-old Robbie Lawler. Why are you getting slumped by punches in the clinch? But like Niko Price's recent record, he's got some solid performances on there. BI I don't think he's that good at this point. He's 34, 15-7, 5 TKO KO losses. Morono's not a power puncher by any means, but his last win, the last time he won, if you take away his most recent win against Alex Oliveira in 2021, his last win was last decade against James Vick by upkick KO. So yeah, since then, lost to Luque, lost to Pereira, lost to Philip Rowe by TKO, and lost to Robbie Lawler. I'm not picking this guy to win. Also got a TKO loss. He's fought some really good guys, to be fair. He's got a winner over Randy Brown. He lost to Luque twice for some. I don't know. He got finished the first time, so why did they run it back? I'm learning some stuff about this guy's record as we speak. But Morono, look, the loss to Buckley hasn't aged badly in hindsight. Even though like something about Morono looks like a guy who would get chinned a lot, he's only got 3 out of 9 losses by TKO, so it's not too bad. Buckley obviously beat him up, got a finish. He got finished by Ponzinibbio, but he was winning that fight. Ponzi's actually a solid fighter. But like Court McGee win, Tim Means win, Semmelsberger win, Mickey Gall win. He subbed Tim Means, which is actually a solid win. Like, he lost to Perez, he lost to Chaos Williams, and he lost to Ponzinibbio. Those are his recent, and Buckley. Like, he's losing to big power punches. I don't think, what's his name? Fucking Nico Price is one of those. So yeah, I'm going to be going with Alex Morono by decision, just because I don't think his finishing potential is that high, let's be honest. He has 10 decision wins out of 24, so he does have finishes. Maybe he could get a sub, but I doubt it. I'll go with Morono by decision. Let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we got Phil Rowe versus Jake Matthews. I'm going to go with Jake Matthews. He is a favourite, but so far, the notable MMA YouTubers that I've seen, most of them are picking Philip Rowe. Like MMA Guru and Lucas Tracy, both picking Philip Rowe. I'm going to go Jake Matthews. I don't love the fact that he's this wide of a favourite, so obviously I would not bet on this fight, because Jake Matthews is just not a guy that you should be betting on. But Philip Rowe, right? He's actually never won a fight by decision, which is interesting. This guy's got a massive reach advantage. He's got, I think, almost like a 7 or 8 inch reach advantage over Jake Matthews. So that is definitely a cause for concern. But his last fight against Magny, he looked dog shit. His fight IQ looked pretty dismal, and he kind of got like beat in the clinch. Like Magny's a guy who can look close against anyone. Like, I guarantee you do Jake Matthews versus Magny right now, it's a close fight. Like, Magny's just a guy that he'll beat some people and he'll lose to some people, but it'll be close regardless. But like, he got a win over Nico Price, who we've just established is not that good. Jason Witt, I don't rate. Orion Kosuke, I don't rate. Lost to Gabriel Green, I don't rate him. Got a TKO over Leon Shabazian on the Contender Series, right? So that is his UFC career. So most of those other finishes, TKO and stuff, back in the day, he lost. But his UFC career, he's got 2 losses. Gabriel Green in his debut, and then Neil Magny in his most recent fight. He's 33, sorry. Turns 34 in about a month. I don't know. I just don't think something about him doesn't seem like he's going to be like a guy who's really making improvements or going to be looking really good in any of his fights, I'm going to be honest. Now, I should have watched more tape. And also, Jake Matthews is very unreliable, but he's 29, and he's a guy that sometimes just has these level-up performances, and I'm going to have a feeling that he has one of those here. Not saying he's going to have like a performance like he did against Fialho, where people think he's going to be like a top 10 guy. But look through this guy's record. So Diego Sanchez win, Sean Brady loss, Andre Fialho win, Matthew Semmelsberger loss, Darius Flowers win, Michael Morales loss. He's due for a win. The way this guy's recent career is gone, he's winning this fight. And I think he's going to do it by decision. So look, I know that looking at the pattern in someone's record is not the best idea. Obviously, I know that he's fought in the UFC before Diego Sanchez, but that's when I cut it off, because that's how long since 2020, he's just been going 1 for 1. So he's coming off a loss to Michael Morales, who's a prospect, who's a tricky guy to deal with, more powerful guy than Philip Rowe. I do think, and more weapons in the arsenal as well, I do believe. So I think Jake Matthews is going to find a way to get past the range. Maybe he's going to muscle him in the clinch a little bit. He's he's not the taller guy or the rangier guy, but he's like the more built guy from what I've seen. And yeah, look, he's got 8 submissions, 6 decisions, 5 TKOs. So if this fight gets extended, I could see Jake Matthews kind of just getting into his groove and finding his shots better. If he can get past the range. If he can't get past the range, then yeah, Philip Rowe might win a decision. Because I don't know why. I don't see him finishing I don't see him finishing Jake Matthews because Semmelsberger's got a lot of power and he kind of won. We saw in that fight, Jake Matthews is better than Semmelsberger, but he's not the most, he's not got the best chin and he kind of just kept getting dropped and lost all the rounds based on getting knocked down. But Philip Rowe, I don't know why, something about him, maybe it's just I'm clouded by the Magny fight and apart from that fight, he's actually a killer on the feet. But I don't know, I just don't trust Philip Rowe to find a finish, and he's never won a decision in his entire career. So I think this fight's going to get extended. I think Matthews might mix in some takedowns. Rowe's got decent grappling too, but Matthews is stronger, he's a bigger guy. He's actually got good jiu-jitsu. So yeah, I'm going to pick Jake Matthews, even though he's the favourite, and it sounds like I'm justifying an underdog pick. A lot of YouTubers I'm hearing are picking Philip Rowe, which is not a bad underdog pick. But when that many of them are picking him, it's almost like he's the favourite, but just not on the betting odds. Like he's the favourite in the eyes of the community almost. But I'm picking Jake Matthews. He's also Australian, so yeah, he's from Victoria. The gym that he trains at is actually really close to where I train. So yeah. Let's move on though to the next fight. Next up, we got Grant Dawson versus Joe Solecki. I'm picking Grant Dawson. I think this is a layup fight for him. I think the UFC do kind of like him. And that's why they gave him that main event against Bobby Green. Obviously, it didn't go well for him. He got flash KO'd in 30 seconds. But I don't see Joe Solecki doing that. Where if you take a look at Joe Solecki's divine career record, 0 wins by TKO out of 13 wins. So never won a fight by finish, by TKO. He's got submissions. I don't see him subbing Grant Dawson. This is going to be a grappling match. He's never been subbed. Dawson, I don't believe, has ever been subbed either. 20-2 for Grant Dawson is actually a weirdly good record. He was 20-1 before that Bobby Green fight, and way back in the day, his other loss was also by TKO. So this guy, maybe a chin issue, but again, I'm not going to pick you to get chinned by someone who's never TKO'd someone. Look, he beat Jared Gordon by submission in the third. He subbed Mark Madsen. He dominated Demiraz Magulov on the ground. A lot better than anything I've seen from Joe Solecki, let's be honest. Grant Dawson's big favourite. He's like minus 300 on the odds or something like that. He got TKO'd. He had an armbar on Drakkar Close and got slam KO'd. Split decision loss to Jared Gordon. He's got a win over Jim Miller, Austin Hubbard. These guys aren't that good. He got KO'd by Nicholas Motta back in the day on the regional seed. So, yeah, I'm going to be going with Grant Dawson. I think he can get takedowns or even on the feet. I think he's better. So, maybe a ground and pound TKO on the ground. But if he does just want to grind out a win and play it safe and not risk anything, I see a decision dominant 30-27, maybe 30-26 win for Grant Dawson. Let's move on though up the card. Roman Kopylov versus Cesar Almeida. Now Roman Kopylov is a slight favourite, but it's basically a pick'em. I'm actually going to pick Cesar Almeida though. Now I'm a big fan of Roman Kopylov, and so maybe I'm kind of doing this as like a win-win. If I get my pick right, then cool, or Kopylov wins and I'm happy. So it's like regardless, because in a fight where I'm really not sure who to pick, I'll pick the guy who I would prefer not to win. I like Kopylov. I want him to win. So regardless, I either get my pick right or I get the fighter that I like to win. But I'm going to go with Cesar Almeida. Now, why? Because pretty much everyone I've seen is picking Roman Kopylov. I think everyone is coming at it with the same approach of like, Almeida's overrated, or Kopylov, just because he lost to Fluffy Hernandez, why does that mean he's not good? And I get it, because pretty much all his losses come from grappling. But also, I love this guy. I love Roman Kopylov, but look at his wins. And this is why I should have kind of considered picking Hernandez against him, because I was way too high on his striking, and he's a very good striker, but I was like almost thinking, I was in the Lucas Tracy mindset of thinking this guy's like a top 10 middleweight, just because Josh Fremd TKO, Claudio Herberio KO after he kind of got rocked in the first, Punahele Soriano's awful, he lost to Dustin Stoltzfus, who's the Abbas Magomedov victim, and then Alessio Di Chirico, who's also not good. Lost to Albert Drive, lost to Carl Roberson. Now again, I don't think Cesar Almeida is going to wrestle this guy. Obviously, he's a kickboxer. He's a glory kickboxer, and that's not just why I'm picking him. I'm not just going like, oh, glory kickboxer, he must be better at striking. I think on the feet there's going to be a really competitive matchup, but I think I'm going to trust Cesar Almeida to be making more improvements, even though he's 36. He's new to MMA. I'm pretty sure, I'm not mistaken, he's training at Extreme Couture. Don't quote me on that. I actually kind of want to check that. If he is, If he is training at Extreme, I think he trains at Extreme Couture in America, maybe. Let me look it up. Cesar Almeida Gym. Because I watched his debut and you really didn't get to see much striking. I would have liked to see more striking from him, but it is what it is. He fought Dylan Bodka, who spammed a bunch of takedowns and then just gassed out. But before that, he's obviously a really nasty striker. He's a nasty striker. He's got KOs, he's got power, he's got good, just overall technical striking. I can't find what gym he trains at, but apparently I heard on one of the broadcasts they said he was doing some training at Extreme. So if he's doing that, then I trust him to be making some improvements, maybe in the grappling too. So I don't think Kopylov's going to wrestle him. And on the feet, I think Kopylov might be a little bit quicker, but it's kind of one of those things where you see that veteran guy just able to stay out of trouble, stay out of like the really fast, dangerous attacks, and kind of just land his own shots. I don't think he's going to finish Kopylov, because on his Contender Series fight against a really good opponent as well, he didn't finish him, and he actually showed some good ground and pound, and actually looked half decent on top in the grappling. Now look, this is a weird one, because obviously if you're going off just what we've seen in the UFC, you do have to pick Kopylov, because that's who we've seen more from. But I'm just thinking, I don't know, something about it, I'm going to go with Almeida. I'm going to pick the guy, even though we haven't seen heaps from him. I'm going to pick him to just be crafty enough sort of on the feet to stay out of the big shots, stay out of danger. And I think if Kopylov doesn't finish him, I mean, maybe Kopylov just like outstrikes him at range on the feet. And this is not just because he's a glory kickboxer. I'm like, oh, he's definitely going to win. But I like his power. I don't like the fact for Kopylov that he got rocked and like was in some trouble against Claudio Ribeiro, who's not good. And again, Kopylov is really good at finding shots, and he looks like just the best striker you'll ever see, but he's fighting cans. And against Fluffy Hernandez, he did look really good. He's got some great body kicks and stuff, but Almeida's dealt with so many body kicks. He deals with this shit. He deals with knees, kicks, all that. That's how he's been fighting for like the last 10 plus years. So I don't think Kopylov's just going to be able to land whatever he wants whenever he wants, like how he does against Fremd. And I don't think Almeida's going to be making those rookie mistakes of like biting on feints or getting like caught with a head kick like what's his name, Ribeiro did. So I'm going to pick Almeida. I think he's going to win by decision. I think we might even see some moments where he actually ends up on top later in the fight. Roman might gas out a little bit because the style of fight that he needs to win and to look really good, he does tire himself out a lot. So I might pick Almeida to have like a first close competitive 2 rounds. Maybe Kopylov wins the first, looks really good, looks crisp, and then Almeida wins the second and third. Maybe lands some big shots, rocks Kopylov at one point, and then maybe Kopylov gasses out and gets real tired in the third, and then Almeida somehow ends up on top and then mixes in some ground and pound like he did on the Contender Series. So yeah, not a super educated pick in terms of like, I'm not really confident on this. The odds are close for a reason. And Kopylov was a bigger favourite before. Kopylov was like minus 180 a couple of weeks ago when the fight, like when the odds came out. People have come in on Almeida. I think he might win. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I am just going to back Almeida to kind of show us what we haven't seen before and use his glory kickboxing back. And of course, he fought Alex Pereira, went decision. If you can stay out of danger in kickboxing against Alex Pereira, and even though he did get dropped in some of those fights, if you don't get KO'd by Alex Pereira and just completely mushed and just pieced up and tuned up for the whole time, which he didn't do, then I'm going to back you to not get completely rinsed by Kopylov. So I'm going to pick Almeida, but again, if Kopylov wins, I won't be upset. I'm a big Kopylov fan. But yeah, I'm going to pick Almeida. You know, not many people are picking him from what I see. A lot of people like Kopylov, which is fair, but I'll go Almeida. Fuck it. Let's move on, though, to another fight. Next up, we got Randy Brown versus Zaleski dos Santos. I'm picking Randy Brown to win by first round TKO. I think he's going to get on a bit of a streak and get some momentum going. And yeah, if you look at this guy's recent wins, Muslim Salikov TKO, that was his last fight. I like that win. I like that a lot. Before that, the Wellington Turman win wasn't crazy impressive, I'm going to be honest. Jack Della lost, nothing to be ashamed of. And then, like, before that, he was on a bit of a win streak. Trinaldo, Chaos Williams, Jared Gooden, Alex Oliveira. He lost to Vicente Luque, but whatever. Subbed Wally Alves, TKO'd Brian Barberina. He did lose to Nico Price, which is rough. He lost to Bilal. Like, who cares about that one? But let's take a look. I like his range. Look, I'm going to talk about his took about him as an actual fighter, not just his record. But I like his range. I like his counters. He's a crisp striker when he fights these shorter guys that kind of swing bigger looping shots. Like Jack Della's got crisp boxing, and he caught him, put him away, and then subbed him, obviously. But a guy like Dos Santos is open on the feet. We saw Renat drops this guy in round 1. He's got great cardio, so this fight gets extended out of the first round, second and third, I might back Dos Santos to kind of scrape a win. But, he had a split decision against Abubakar Nurmagomedov. He beat up BSD, but that was ages ago. He lost to Muslim Salikov as well by split decision. He's never been the most active guy too. Like, he fought BSD in October 2021, and then I think he popped because he came back in June 2023, and then he came back in November. So yeah, the Renat fight, look, Renat, in hindsight, looking at his actual fighting style, his striking is awful. If you watched Renat strike in that fight, he just swings overhands, and he dropped and almost finished Dos Santos in round 1. So again, if this fight goes into the third, then maybe we see Randy Brown gassing out, looking not great. But in round 1, when both of them are quick, when Randy Brown's fully powerful and got all his counters flowing and he's in his zone, I'm going to pick him to win. He's got the range advantage, obviously. He's a real tall, lanky guy. And yeah, I'm going to pick him to win by TKO. I think he's going to get like a counter right hand, or just he's like a sort of Jalen Turner, Bobby Green style shot where the shorter guy, not a great defense, he's going to get caught over the top, and I think we'll get finished. So yeah, Randy Brown by TKO. He might just win a decision though, and it might be boring, but I'm going to go with a fun outcome and say a finish. Let's move on though to another fight. Next up on the card, we got Jailton Almeida versus Alexander Romanov, the fat tubby man himself, Tubby Man Romanov. I'm picking Almeida by TKO. I'll go ground and pound TKO or submission, just a finish on the ground. I'll say in the second round. I think it's going to look like the Shamil Abdurahimov fight, where he kind of ragdolls him in the first. Maybe Romanov does something. Maybe we see the fat boy land a big overhand or something like that. Maybe stuffs a takedown. But then, yeah, he's fat. He's obese. He's overweight. He's got a BMI of at least 45. And yeah, he's just going to gas. He's going to not know how to stay in a fight, because we know this man has zero cardio and he's got no grit as well. So yeah, Almeida, even though he did lose to Curtis Blades, so unless Romanov just literally finds a way to put all of his belly on top of him and just lay on top of him and squash his head, then I'm going to go with Almeida to win, because he is actually a solid grappler. It is harder for him to move around and just chuck around these big tubby boys like Curtis Blades and stuff, but Blades is like strong and big, and he's actually got good wrestling. With his Romanov, past like the first minute, he turns into just like a mass. He's just a mass that you can move, and he's got no skill, and he's got like, I swear it's probably harder to just move a stationary, non-living, like just existing table than it is to move like Romanov. Like, it's harder to move the table than it is Romanov. Romanov is just that fat. Once he's gassed out, it's almost like takedown defense, and like actual resistance just does not exist, and you can just do whatever you want. So yeah, Almeida, he's gonna get flattened out. He's gonna gas out. Almeida's going to get on top of him. He's going to be in mount. His knees won't even be able to touch the floor because Romanov's belly is going to be too high up. But he will find, I think, like a ground and pound TKO or a submission. We're going to get flashbacks. We're going to go back to like the 2022, the Rosenstrike or the Abdurahimov Almeida fights, where he just gets the fat boy on the ground, throws some fucking weird little zesty hammer fists, and then the fat boy just turns over and gives up his neck. So that's what I'm going with, TKO or submission, either or, finish on the ground for Almeida. Let's move on though, up the card. Next up on the card, we got Kevin Holland versus Michal Alexjacek. I'm going to be picking Kevin Holland to win here. I think this is a showcase fight for him. Look, I don't love him up at middleweight, but to be fair, I kind of don't mind him as well, because let's be honest, at welterweight, he won more than he lost, I think. Maybe not even. But like at middleweight, he had more power. Like, when do we see this guy getting like full, like flatline or like really slick, like banger KOs where you're like, geez, that was fucking sick. At welterweight, I swear we don't see it as much. He beat Ponzi, to be fair. He rocked and finished Chiesa, but like he's fighting some old men. But like at middleweight, he KO'd fucking Buckley. That was sick. But Alexjacek, look, he lost to Michel Pereira. That's no shame. Michel Pereira up at middleweight is just smoking fools. But like Chidi Njokuani, he was in a lot of trouble in that fight. got the win eventually. Baralio subbed him. Brundage win. Sam Alvey win. Congratulations, you've beat quite literally the two worst fighters in the middleweight and light heavyweight division, respectively. Dustin Jacoby lost. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Shamil Gamzatov TKO win. Good job. Never heard of that man in my life. Split decision against Modestas Bukauskas. Subbed by Jimmy Crute. Subbed by OSP. And then some TKO wins against some bums. Some TKO wins against some bums. But, like, let's be honest. We see this guy, there's two weaknesses he has. He gets hurt to the body a lot, and he also gets submitted a lot. And Kevin Holland, what's he really good at? Or not, he's not great at it, but he hurts some people to the body. He finished Fluffy Hernandez with body shots. And then what's he good at when he gets you hurt? He's good at submitting you. Like, take a look at Holland's record. I know we do clown him, but I think people are kind of considering Holland just like a bum. He's not a bum. He's just incapable of beating top-level fighters. But Michal Jacek is not a top-level fighter. Like, he got schooled by MVP. He lost to Jack Della Maddalena. Who cares? You beat Chiesa. You beat Ponzi. Good job. Lost to Wonderboy, lost to Hamzat. So look at these 4 losses. Hamzat Chimaev, about to fight in a number 1 contender fight at 185. One of the best grapplers in the sport. Stephen Thompson, one of the best strikers in the sport, had a good first round, hurt Stephen Thompson in round 1, and then just got schooled by Wonderboy, who's only ever lost to one person on the feet. Jack Della Maddalena, decision loss. Whatever. Della's one of the best boxers in the welterweight division. Michael Page, loss, again, had him in some trouble on the ground, but got schooled in that fight. Those are slick strikers. But like Tim Means win, Alex Oliveira win, and then back up at middleweight, he lost to Vittori, he lost to Brunson. And then way back, he lost to like Brendan Allen, Thiago Santos. So, crazy thing, this guy's UFC losses, Thiago Santos, who was a light heavyweight that challenged for the belt. Brendan Allen, number 6 or number 7 ranked middleweight in the world right now. Derek Brunson, he forward checks a lot of people. Brunson's beat a whole lot of guys. Vittori, number 5 ranked middleweight right now. Hamzat, number 10 or something ranked middleweight, about to fight Robert Whittaker, one of the best grapplers in the sport. Stephen Thompson, one of the best strikers in the sport, top 10 welterweight. Jack Della Maddalena, top 5 welterweight, one of the best boxers. MVP, one of the best strikers in the welterweight division, lost to him. None of those losses are bad. Now, I get it. None of his wins are, like, tremendous. But, like, Michael Chiesa is not that good, but he completely smoked him. Ponzi's not bad. Like, Ponzi's a decent fighter. Tim Means, Alex Oliveira. These are welterweight fights. And then, like, KO over Joaquin Buckley. TKO win in under a minute over Fluffy Hernandez. Like, these are wins that age not too badly. On the flip side, Michal Jacek gets subbed by pretty much everyone that tries to grapple him, let's be honest. Michel Pereira just ran through him, hurt him to the body early. Chidi Njokuani had him hurt to the body. Njokuani, I don't think he's good. Caio Baralho, solid fighter, so that's not a terrible loss, but, you know, he subbed him pretty easy. And again, his win, like, we're looking at differences in win competition and then differences in loss competition. Michal's losing to worse fighters and Michal's beating worse fighters than Kevin Holland is losing and beating. So that's my opinion. Holland's going to be quicker. He's going to be more powerful. He's going to hurt him to the body early. If he hurts him, Michal's a guy that he's tough and it's hard to really put him away and hurt him to the head and like KO him and rock him. But it's easy to kind of hurt him to the body. And then from there, you can work to submissions. You can do stuff there. So I think Holland, he might hurt him to the body kick, punch, something like that, knee to the body. And then Michal, he's going to kind of hunch over. Holland's going to snap him down, get him in like a dust or something like that. Or just be a flat TKO to the body or something like that. So I'm picking Holland by finish. We're going to see Holland. I'm not saying he's some top 10, top 15 guy, but he's not terrible. So yeah, that's my prediction. Let's move on though. Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa. I think Sean Strickland is going to win a dominant, unanimous decision, and he's not going to give Paulo Costa any moments. Now, I do think there's going to be a fun fight. Now, I think the perception of that and the reason behind that fun fight is going to be because Strickland's going to be landing a bunch and just like able to pick apart and land when he wants on Costa, in my opinion. But Costa's got a solid chin and he's just going to be walking forward and he won't get finished, in my opinion. And so it's going to look fun and he'll be just swinging big shots that are going to be landing on the shoulders of Sean Strickland. So it's going to look like, oh, Costa's in there, he's having his moments. But in reality, I do think he's just going to kind of get schooled. Strickland's got way better boxing. He's way more technical. I think even the chin is not that different. People act like Costa's just some like granite chin guy. I don't think he is. He's got a good chin, but not some like just unbreakable chin. But Strickland's not a KO guy, so I don't think Strickland finishes him. Maybe gets a volume TKO later on in the fight. Like if Costa gasses out, that could be something that happens. If Costa gasses badly, but you know, this guy went distance with Vettori. This guy went distance with Rockhold at altitude. And I know that's not a good look because he didn't finish Rockhold, but he can stay in fights. He doesn't get Izzy finished him, but apart from that, he went distance with Romero. Like, this guy's got... His cardio's not great, but it's not terrible. I think he's dialed in a bit more now, so I don't think we're going to see some just shit Paulo Costa that shows up looking awful. But yeah, Strickland's way better. You saw it in the Dricus fight. You saw it in the Izzy fight. You saw it in a lot of these fights. I think a Mavov would smoke Paulo Costa as well. He beat him. Cannonier would fucking murder Paulo Costa. Like, Strickland is having close fights or easy decisions or whatever. He's winning fights. Apart from Alex Pereira, every fight this guy's had has been either a close win, a close loss, or an easy win. Like, obviously, with Abbas. Mavov was pretty easy. Adesanya was pretty easy. And his close losses are like Cannonier and Dricus. I don't think Costa is that level. I still don't think he's like a number like 6, 7, 8 ranked middleweight. I think he's outside the top 10 in terms of skill right now. And yeah, Strickland's going to be landing his jab whenever he wants, in my opinion. Maybe the first round goes to Costa. That's what I'll go with. I'll go with 49-46 or maybe 49-45 with a 10-8 later on. And Costa might have a round early where he just kind of pushes forward and wins on optics, even though he's probably not going to land much clean. He'll just be swinging a lot and it'll look like Sean Strickland's in trouble. But at the end of the day, I do think Sean Strickland's going to stay out of the danger of most of the shots. This guy doesn't really get chinned by like big looping shots. He got KO'd by Alex Pereira with a left hook where he set him up, had him walk in, had him parry, and then got him around the guard. Costa doesn't set that shit up. Costa's a big slugger. He throws big power shots, and he's not even that powerful. He throws like big shots in terms of like effort, and he swings big and he makes big movements, but there's not that much power behind him. He couldn't even finish like Dricus's southpaw jab or his jab, whatever. Dricus's straight punch did more damage to Robert Whittaker than a fucking spinning wheel kick from Paulo Costa. Like, I don't know what's going on. This guy's fucking jacked, but he's got fuck all power, in my opinion. Like, if you land a flush wheel kick on someone, you should finish them or rock them badly, like, or drop them. He didn't even drop him. He just kind of wobbled him, made him do a bit of a jitterbug. But apart from that, Whittaker, we saw later on, was just way too technically good. And against the guys that are way technically better than him, Costa kind of just ends up slugging, just swinging, looking a bit foolish, not landing anything clean, not landing anything impactful. And I think that's what's going to happen here with Strickland. Strickland will walk him down with his classic style. He'll parry the big shots. Maybe Costa could hurt him over the top. Maybe like Strickland's trying to parry the straight punches and the fundamental shots, and then he gets caught over the top with like a big right hand or something like that. That could happen. Maybe Costa gets like a head kick up there, lands a head kick on Sean Strickland, because we've seen screenshots, we've seen photos where against Abbas Magomedov, he kind of brings both of his hands down to parry the body kick, and then both of his hands are down by his fucking waist, as he could have been kicked in the head. Like, that does happen. But if Izzy couldn't set this guy up and head kick KO him, I don't think Paulo Costa's going to. Maybe it's just a case of the big brawler, the big slugger, causes some issues for Sean Strickland, but I doubt it. I don't think Sean's going to get overwhelmed just because some big, powerful guy is swinging at him. Cannonier, Dricus, these guys, they're big, powerful dudes that swing big shots, and they weren't like big, muscular dudes, no Jones, that just swing big shots and try and take your head off. And I think both of them are both more powerful and technically better than Paulo Costa. So I really don't see Costa having heaps of success here. I think it will be a fun fight because I think Strickland will pick up the output. I don't think this will end up being out like a Hermansson fight or one of those real boring ones. I think this will look similar to the Dricus fight. Maybe Costa mixes in some takedowns, maybe takes him down a couple times. But if this was 3 rounds, I could consider Costa maybe just going all out in 2 rounds and then winning those 2, and then just via like pressing forward and looking better for the judges. But in a 5 round, I don't think Paulo Costa can fight at the pace or in the style that he needs to be able to keep up with Sean, out-damage him, outland him, and all of that stuff. I think as the fight goes on, it's going to get easier and easier for Strickland to land. His accuracy will pick up. Costa's accuracy will decrease as well as he just swings, as he's got less timing behind his shots, less power. he's going to be swinging arm punches. So yeah, Sean Strickland should win this fight, in my opinion, by decision. Maybe the TKO comes late if Paulo Costa gas is bad, or if Strickland times him with something really nice. But I'm going to go with decision. I'm going to go 49-45. So I'm going to say round 1 goes to Paulo Costa 10-9. Just does a bit more on the scorecard, like does a bit more in terms of looks better, pushing forward. Strickland's a little bit nervous, a little bit backing up, but then he's going to quickly realize after that, I'm way better than this guy. This guy's not landing on me, and he's going to start walking him down. He's going to start landing the jab. When he gets confident with that, he'll put the 2 behind it. He'll get that teep going. He'll do his thing. He'll avoid the big shots. He'll pick up in the later rounds, maybe like really put it on him in the 4th, not quite a 10-8, and then in the 5th round, he'll get a 10-8 round, I think. Something like that, 49-45 for Sean Strickland. Let's move on, though, to the main event. Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Shine Bright Like a Diamond Poirier. I'm gonna pick Islam Makhachev, obviously. I'm not going with the fun outcome. I'm sorry, boys. I'm not going to be picking the Shine Bright Like a Diamond guillotine win in the first. I don't think it's going to happen. Islam's been putting guillotines before. He's got out of him. I don't think this is some dude that's just open to gillies. He's going to shoot takedowns probably, but I think he'll be smart. I think he'll go for them in the clinch. Maybe he does the Khabib approach, gives him the neck, makes him gas himself out, knows Dustin will pull a guillotine. Guarantee you, Dustin pulls one. First time Islam shoots a double or a single, he'll go for it. The commentary will be like, oh, guillotine, guillotine. Cormier is going to be like, guillotine there. Or like Rogan's going to be like, his guillotine is nasty. And then Anek's going to be like, Dustin Poirier has never won a fight by a guillotine tonight. I do not think he's going to continue. I do not think he's going to break that trend tonight. So yeah, I don't think Islam's getting guillotined. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm picking him by like round 1 submission, something like that. Maybe round 1 TKO on the ground, I could see. Maybe round 2, maybe I got to put a bit more respect on the diamond. Maybe he'll shine bright enough to make it out first. But I think Islam is a minus 600 favourite for a reason. Look, it seems crazy to have Poirier as that big of an underdog, but stylistically, people are saying Poirier's going to beat him on the feet, man. Even if this stays standing, this ain't retard Islam that is open for check hooks and stuff on the feet. Like, the closest we've seen this guy in danger on the feet was like Volk dropped him in the 5th after a tired Makhachev went through a fucking war and was gassed out and got dropped with a shot. Apart from that, Volk's landed a couple good shots on him. He's been landed on before, but like recent career. Back in the day, yeah, Pantoja KO'd him. Pantoja knocked him out. But recently, who's done anything to this guy on the feet? You're telling me that Oliveira ain't hurting this dude on the feet. The closest Oliveira came to hurting Islam was an up kick on the ground. Like, Volkanovski, he's not landing that clean on the feet. Normally, Volk's able to find his shots. Volk fucking outboxed and picked apart Max Holloway. Smoked Ortega, like smoked Korean Zombie. Volk is able to land on everyone and put out on everyone and just put a pace on them and land on them. And Makhachev avoided the big shots. Makhachev didn't get fucking KO'd and didn't get like rocked badly. He got dropped by Volk, sure, in the 5th round. Like, early on, this guy is technically sound, he's defensively sound. He doesn't go forward and overextend on his punches like he used to, and I think that would be the only way Islam wins. That Dustin wins. Maybe Islam gets caught up in the moment, wants to put on a big show, wants to finish Poirier by KO on the feet, swings some big overhand and gets KO'd. Maybe the stars align, the diamonds shine bright and Poirier gets the win. But I think if logic applies itself to this sport and we get the outcome that if we see Islam that fought against Volkanovski in the last 2 fights versus Dustin Poirier that fought BSD, he's going to get taken down. He's going to pull a guillotine. He's going to fail a guillotine. He's going to end up on top. He's going to beat him up on the ground a bit. Maybe Poirier gets back up. Islam's going to drag him down. He's going to trip out his leg. He'll get to his back. And I think he'll get the rear naked choke. Maybe there's another possibility I could see is Poirier pulls the gilly. I think this fight, the first time this fight ends up on the ground is going to be because Poirier pulls a guillotine. But what was I going to say? I could see Poirier pulling the gilly. Islam gets out, commentary's like, oh, guillotine. We all, like, the crowd's going to get hyped up like they always do, even though he's just not going to get a guillotine. And then Islam ends up in side control or half guard, passes the guard, and similar to how, Oliveira, how he got that arm triangle, how he was in, I don't want to remember this, but I'm trying to remember exactly how he did it, because he dropped him, he went down into the guard, he was kind of in half guard, he locked up the arm triangle in half guard, then passed through the guard, and as soon as he got past the guard, Oliveira tapped. I could see a similar thing with Poirier. Maybe Dustin goes out, but Dustin taps. Dustin, I don't think has ever gone out to a choke. So I think he will tap out. Maybe I could see a Von Flue too if he tries to hold on to that Gilly. Islam subs him. He's got really good like head and arm kind of setup chokes. Von Flue's head and arms, that kind of thing. Obviously, if he gets to the back, rear naked choke, definitely possibility. But I do think Islam subs him in the first. Maybe it's a competitive round. Maybe Islam wants to test out the stand-up. But even on the feet, I'll talk about the stand-up a little bit. Even on the feet, Islam's got good high kicks. Islam got good kicks to the body. I could see Islam landing really good knees. We saw BSD had a lot of success in the clinch. With knees and elbows, I could see Makhachev doing that. I think they're probably similar height, but Islam's got a good tie clinch. He's got good elbows, good knees. So I think you could beat him up there, trip him out, take him down, get out of the failed guillotine, and yeah, he'll sub him. Or maybe wants to prove a point and get that TKO on the grounds. But yeah, Islam Makhachev is going to win. You can see my picks there on screen. I'll go through them now. Pick Islam Makhachev, round 1, arm triangle submission. I'm going to go Sean Strickland, 49-45 UD. Kevin Holland, round 2 sub with the DAS. I'll go Jelton Almeida, round 2 TKO, ground and pound. Roundy Brown, round 1 TKO with a right hand, and then like ground and pound to finish it off. Almeida by unanimous decision, 29-28. Grant Dawson, unanimous decision, 30-27. Jake Matthews, unanimous decision, maybe split, 29-28. Morono, UD, 30-27. Basil Hafez, I'm going to go round 1 TKO. Maybe a sub, I wouldn't mind that. Eileen Perez, UD, 29-28. And then Andre Lima, 30-27, unanimous decision. Those are my picks. It's a great card. I'm looking forward to it a lot. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Leave your comments down below who you think's going to win. Follow me on Instagram, Left Lane MMA. And yeah, see ya.